Imagine yourself on a plane, and a door panel suddenly flies out mid-air, thousands of feet above the ground, with gusts of wind coming in. And all you have to hold on to is that seatbelt. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? On January the 5th, 2024, this nightmare turned into reality for 171 people on board Alaska Airlines flight 1282.
Alaska 1282, did you declare an emergency or just need to return to?
Yes, we are emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers.
The flight was leaving Portland and was headed to California. But 10 minutes into the flight, at around 16,000 feet, all hell broke loose. A chunk of the plane broke off as the airplane was beginning to take ascent. A door panel blew away, leaving a gaping hole in the body of the aircraft. The flight teetered into a near disaster, but miraculously, the seat next to the door was empty. The plane made a quick U-turn and made an emergency landing back at Portland.
We just all heard there was just a really loud boom, which was so startling, and the plane just filled with wind and air. And it's just crazy because that shouldn't happen, right? You know something's wrong and you don't know what. I didn't know where the air was coming from. The oxygen mask dropped.
And then all eyes were back at the infamous plane maker Boeing. Alaska's Flight 1282 was a Boeing 737 MAX 9. The incident added to the already stained history of Boeing's 737 MAX jets. Almost immediately after the incident, Alaska grounded all of its 65 737 MAX 9 aircraft. Alaska's CEO Ben Minicucci said that the fleet will return to service only after maintenance and safety inspections. The US Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, also ordered the temporary grounding of about 171 of the jets. Meanwhile, the National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB, also launched an investigation.
We need to first and foremost figure out what happened here on this aircraft. If we have a bigger system-wide or fleet issue, we will issue an urgent safety recommendation to push for change. With that said, we are aware of the reports that are coming back from the inspections from United and Alaska and Boeing.
Alaska said it had since inspected other Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets. It found more loose hardware on several other vehicles' bodies. United Airlines found loose bolts on plug doors during its inspections. Fortunately, no lives were lost in the weekend accident. Luckily, a major disaster was averted because the plane wasn't too high from the ground. But what led to such a catastrophic accident in the first place? The 737 MAX 9 aircraft was delivered to Alaska Airlines on 31st October 2023, which means it was a fairly new vehicle, so normal wear and tear is out of the question. The NTSB has already ruled out a design flaw. This leaves two other possibilities. Either the door itself was faulty, or it was not bolted in place correctly. But there's no conclusive report just as yet. Later in the week, the missing door panel was finally discovered. It was found in the backyard of a school teacher's house in Portland, and that will perhaps help investigators offer a more definite reason for the accident. The door that blew off the Alaska aircraft was produced by Boeing's supplier, Spirit Aerosystems. Spirit Aerosystems has previously faced criticism for serious quality control failures, but Boeing itself is not too far behind. The plane maker is plagued with long-running complications with its quality. Boeing used to have a reputation for unmatched safety and quality in its commercial jets, but that no longer stands. In 2011, Boeing started working on its MAX variants. The company built it as an update to its previous 737 jets. The company said the new jets would not require additional pilot training, and that became a key selling point for the 737 MAX planes. However, the MAX versions did include significant changes, some of which Boeing downplayed. One of them was the addition of an automated flight control system called MCAS, but pilots didn't know about it. And that led to 2 consecutive and catastrophic crashes. In October 2018, a 737 MAX 8 operated by Indonesia's Lion Air plunged into the Java Sea. Shortly after, in March 2019, another 737 MAX 8 operated by Ethiopian Airlines crashed just 6 minutes after takeoff. A total of 346 people were killed in both crashes. Following this, all MAX jets were grounded for nearly 2 years. And Boeing paid a whopping $2.5 billion to settle an investigation by the US Justice Department.
The FAA, and I in particular, will not approve the plane for return to passenger service until I'm satisfied that we've adequately addressed all of the known safety issues.
In India, airlines do not use Boeing's 737 MAX 9 variants. However, many airlines still use the 737 MAX 8 aircraft. This includes Akasa Air with 22, SpiceJet with 9, and Air India Express also with 9. Earlier this week, India's aviation regulator ordered the inspection of all these aircraft, and the regulator found a missing part in at least one of the vehicles. In wake of last week's accident, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun has offered an apology.
We're going to approach this, number one, acknowledging our mistake and to make sure all the procedures are put in place, inspections, all the readiness actions that are required to ensure every next airplane that moves into the sky is in fact safe and that this event can never happen again.
He said that Boeing will ensure that this never happens again. But are people convinced? Well, at least the investors are not. On Monday, when markets opened after the weekend accident, Boeing's share plunged by at least 7%. Just as the firm was beginning to recover from its previous losses, it seems to have hit an impasse. Back in 2020, as costs mounted after 2 disastrous crashes, Boeing posted its first annual loss in 2 decades. And just last year, it laid off about 2,000 people from its finance and human resource team. Perhaps it's not an exaggeration to assume that the plane maker is headed towards the same fate. The bigger question now is, will Boeing's business make a U-turn in time, or will it crash?